Alright, guys, so as you guys know, some of my favorite comics that have come out from Marvel in the longest time are the Spider-Man and Fantastic Four life story comics. And it has made me wonder, is Marvel going to do more life story books? And today I'm going to be doing like a pitch for what I would like to do for a life story series centered around my favorite Marvel character, the Hulk. So this is Hulk Life Story. So here's what I would do with this book. So we start off in the 60s, because, yeah, it's basically what if the Marvel superheroes aged in real time. Here's the thing. So we'd start off in the 60s, and it's the Gamma Bomb. We're starting with the creation of the Gamma Bomb, and Bruce Banner is, working on it. He's building this weapon. He's building this weapon. But at the same time, like, it's almost like an Oppenheimer kind of thing with him, where it's like, do we know what we're doing with this? I mean, I'm building this, but it's better I do this, and, I don't know if we can be trusted with this power, but I know the Russians can't. So that's kind of what it is like, it's very much like an Oppenheimer kind of situation, where Banner is very much like, it might be the dumbest thing we ever do, and the Gamma Bomb could be 10 times worse than, the hydrogen bomb. But if this technology ever fell into the hands of the Russians, I know it will be 10 times worse. So of course he's working under Ross, and in here I thought in this universe Ross has a little more respect for him. Like, it's more of a, he kind of thinks that Banner's kind of a softie, but at the same time he's very much like, you're the brains here, and you're giving me probably the ultimate weapon here. So he doesn't like belittle Banner. He actually gives him a modicum of respect, even though he kind of thinks personally, guy's a bit of a twig, but and he does I would have it that him and Bruce and Betty's relationship is out in the open, and that's why he's a little that's why Ross is a little more cool about it. Among this is that we have a partner working with. We have someone working with as an assistant to Bruce Banner, and that's Samuel Stearns. You already know where I'm probably going with this, so buckle the fuck up. So Samuel Stearns is working with him on the Gamma Bomb, and it's the day of the blast. Here's the thing. Of course, what happens is he looks to the off into the distance and sees young Rick Jones on the blast site, and he's like, "Stop the launch! I gotta get out there and save that kid." Yeah. Here's the thing, though, and he does save Rick, but the thing of it is that he does get hit with the Gamma Bomb, and he actually gets fucking killed. Bruce dies. Bruce straight up dies, and it's revealed. I'll give a little more about Rick Jones in this continuity, but in here, Rick dies, but what happens is he sees a green light in the distance, and he reaches out for it and goes through. Yep, this is the green door. So we're doing a bit of Immortal Hulk in here, too. Remember that. So, yeah. Hulk isn't born yet, but yeah, Banner wakes up in the morgue, in the base's morgue, and he's rips out of it, he's panicking, and one guy who's walking in there is like, "Holy shit, Dr. Banner, you're alive?" And yeah. The other thing that wasn't seen during that blast is that the bomb was so powerful, the test site was actually hit. The viewing area, the viewing platform was hit as well, and Stearns was also exposed to it, and he's in critical condition right now, as well as Betty, but she seems fine. Yeah. So in here, we find out that Banner's alive, and it's well, we thought you died, man. Your body took in a lot of radiation. It makes no sense. So they put him in quarantine, because Ross is like, "Holy shit, Banner, you were dead, man. You were dead, son. We need to put you in radioactive quarantine. Stearns and my daughter are the same way, and we are gonna fucking put this kid away for forever." And he's like, "Kid, you mean the Rick Jones guy? What happened to him?" Yeah, and here's the thing that would be the most logical thing. They would fucking arrest Rick Jones for trespassing. That I can't believe they never. I don't think they ever brought that up in the original Marvel books or any of the retellings of the origin. Where he, by all intents and purposes, Ross was well within his power for arresting him for trespassing on a military site. So he's being held, like Rick Jones is being held, and it's revealed that Rick was paid to do this. It wasn't a dare by his friends. He was paid to do this by the Gremlin. Yeah, one of the Hulk's original first villain. It's also that there was an in-between guy, and that in-between guy was a guy named Emil Blonsky. See how I'm tying this all together? So in this continuity, Rick is still a good guy. He just wanted money. He was this young dumb kid who basically was paid to be like, if you go out there, I'll pay you a ton of money. And he's like, right on. So him and his little teen brigade, as he calls it, were the ones who were going out there. And the in-between guy who was paying them was Emil Blonsky, who, while that was more or less it's supposed to be a distraction. The whole thing about killing Banner, that was going to be Stearns' job, because it turns out the Gremlin also had Stearns as the inside guy to try to assassinate Banner, or at least tamper and get information on the Gamma Bomb. So Blonsky gets the technology, Stearns is just left, and he becomes the leader, escapes, with it now like all this new knowledge that he has. Blonsky managed to get in and get the Gamma technology. Him and the Gremlin try to recreate the blast, and it ends up making, Blonsky into the Abomination later. But as for the Hulk is born that night. Banner becomes the Hulk later that night because that's what happened in the original comics. Is that night the Hulk came out, and the Hulk just breaks out and just fights his way through the military. But when daybreak comes, it's Banner. And Banner escapes, and he's like, "What am I?" And so we fast forward. So we fast forward to the 70s. So that was the 60s. Now we're in the 70s, and in the 70s, the Hulk is on Banner's been on the run for about 10 years. But the thing of it is, he's been very close with in contact with Betty, who's been also dealing with some kind of gamma sickness, but that's just her when we'll get back to that. And Jen Walters, his cousin. So Jen has been his in-between, and at the same time, Hulk has been periodically seen. The Hulk is treated like Bigfoot here. That's how I treat Hulk in this story, is that the Hulk is kind of like Bigfoot. And the other thing that's disturbing Banner is that he's not aging. That's the scary. He's aging slowly. It's been 10 years since he became the Hulk, and now he's looking at himself, he's like, I should at least have some gray hair, but I'm not. That's disturbing. And he does bring up the fact that the Hulk has died a few times over now. And he's been killed in he's been hit by a car, he's been shot in a mugging, and he's not dying. So he's like, did the blast from the gamma radiation cause me to become immortal? So so the Hulk is battling other superheroes and going on adventures, of course. But then we now get back to Stearns, who has now become the leader and is now battling with the Hulk. And at the same time, he's kidnapped Betty, and he actually is talking to Betty because he's like, you've been touched by the green door too, right? And he's just so obsessed with it. He actually extends her mutation and makes her into the Harpy. And at this time, Ross is also trying to get the Hulk as well, because he's like, that thing belongs to the government, kind of like in the movie. So this is the story. This is the part where not only do we get the Hulk doing all these crazy 70s adventures, we get Harpy. We get the Harpy. That's what Betty Ross became originally. And then we also have Jen Walters, because during the attack she gets shot and she bleeds out, and the Hulk revives her with his blood. And from there, the Hulk is believed to be dead again. But this time, when the Hulk revives, something new comes out. That's the Grey Hulk. So now we're in the 80s with Joe Fixit Hulk. So, we are now in the 80s. This is Joe Fixit in Vegas. And now, he's actually The thing of it is that Joe has actually like lived here in Vegas. Is that Joe's now the crime boss of Vegas? He took over after his boss was killed in a hit that he couldn't save, and since he had his boss had no subordinates to take over, Joe was like, I'm taking that chair. Does anyone want to stop me? No? Okay. So now it's like he's battling gang wars with Fisk and the Maggia, kind of like how they're doing it in the Joe Fixit comics from Peter David right now. And in this story, this is where we get back to Blonsky, who is now like he's been sent by the Gremlin, who eventually did die from radiation poisoning, and his wife died, and now Blonsky has tracked down the Hulk, and the two of them wreck Vegas in a fight. And from there, Banner is also back. When every time, because it's like Joe Fixit, of course, takes over during the night, and Banner is like he calls Banner his little accountant as well as his little like his other guy, like his morning guy. So Banner's kind of just he's like, I may be a scientist, but I can't deny that I love this whole like criminal story, right? From there, Hulk and Blonsky, so Joe and Blonsky fight, and Blonsky's like, you've seen it too, right? And he's like, yeah, every night my fucking dreams. So not only is Banner seeing like the green door and all of that, and he's battling Blonsky's like, we're gonna do this forever, aren't we? And he's like, I hate to say it, but yeah. So by the end of it, Blonsky and him fight, and Hulk Joe defeats him, but by that point, that's when Joe is like having all these conflicting feelings, and that's when the Green Hulk gets out, and from this is that it awakens something else. We're going to the 90s, and that's where we get Devil Hulk. So the Devil Hulk in the 90s, so now Banner's really starting to lose his mind, because he's now battling with multiple personas, and one of them is the Devil Hulk. And now he's in, total fear of everything. This leads to him contacting Tony, Richards, and everyone and saying, you need to get me off the you need to get rid of me. And he's like, we can't kill, we've tried before. We've tried killing the Hulk. And he's like, no, you haven't. He's like, you've tried containing the Hulk, not killing him. You need to get me away, because if this thing gets out of me, I will kill everyone on the planet. So that's what they do. Yep. Go into a ship willingly and shoot him off into space. Now we're in the 2000s. And you know what happened in the 2000s? World War fucking Hulk. So now we are in World War Hulk, and in here, we cut back to the 2000s, and Civil War still is happening. All the superheroes are older now, and the new generation of heroes are caught in the middle of this. And that, in the middle of it, boom, the Hulk has shown up, but it's not like World Breaker Hulk. This is the Devil Hulk. This is Devil Hulk, and he has a warbound. And here's what he's been doing this whole time since he's been gone since the 90s. Essentially, what has happened is that the Devil Hulk has not only been smashing Sakaar, he went on a fucking cross-galactic conquest of the planet, of the galaxy. And he has like the Shi'ar, he has Kree, he has Skrulls, he has a lot of races under his command, and he plans to take Earth for himself and get revenge. So yeah. By the end of it, and all the heroes, like, Hulk's immortal, so no one can stop him, and all the heroes are fucking killed, and Hulk wins. Yeah. So now we have cut to the 2010s, and this is now Future Imperfect. This is now Maestro Hulk. Because Devil Hulk is like, I never gave myself a name. Everyone called me Devil, but I prefer the term Maestro. He, like, plants his sword through, like, Tony's stomach, and he's like, call me the Maestro. And now we're in the 2010s. And in the 2010s, Hulk has ruled over the planet. And it's become an apocalyptic hellscape. Not a lot of heroes are left to fight him. But in the middle of all this is Samuel Stearns, the leader, who has come back and is preparing to battle the Hulk and take control of the world. And it ends with Stearns and all of Hulk's remaining villains who have been touched by the power of the Green Door, all come to fight him. Maestro wins, and it just ends on a fuck you note. The Hulk story has always been about sadness and just being angry, and it's always a downer. So that's what happens, is that, yeah, Hulk got his happiness and Hulk got to be alone, but Hulk wins, and it's not the Hulk you want. So there you go, guys. That is my Hulk life story. That's my pitch for the Hulk life story. If I was to do this as an actual comic, I would have Peter David, because no one else writes the Hulk better than him. Do not fight me. Well, Al Ewing and Peter David. I would pick Al Ewing or Peter David for this project. As for art, Dale Cohn, who, if you've seen his artwork for Hulk and also Image Comics, then you know why I would pick him. But yeah, I would love to write this as an actual comic, but I'm never going to get the chance, so I thought I'd rant and rave about it here. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of Hulk Life Story? Did you guys like it, hate it? Comment below, let me know. Once again, I hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.